Hello, this is Sunil Sunder Raj with the Ordell Sports Roundup. Today, I'm happy to be speaking with Kayla DePol, a senior on the River Dell Golden Hawks varsity volleyball team. Once again, Kayla, thank you so much for taking some time out to speak with me today. I really appreciate it.
Of course. Thanks so much for having me.
Hey, congrats, Kayla said, on your success, this past season, your senior year there. You look at the record, 20-4, 8-0, undefeated in the Big North Patriot. First team all North Jersey Peach Division. You've had some time now to, reflect on what you were able to accomplish there, especially in your senior year. I just want to find out, just what comes to your mind.
Yeah, it was definitely a really special season. It was a great senior season for me personally. I think it was just a really special group of girls that we had this year. It's rare that you get a team like that where all the girls just click so well.
Mm-hmm.
And we had so much off the court chemistry, which helped so much on the court because we just played as a team so well. And that definitely led to our success throughout the season. And yeah, it was just a really great senior season to have.
I want to mention some of your teammates here, especially on that first team, seniors, Devin McHale, Sophia Fernino, juniors, Emma Avancho and Alicia Idaquila. Then second team, sophomore, Erin McGabe, juniors, Emily Sinclair and Lily Crowder. And then with all Bergen County, you had, Alicia said first team, all Bergen County, second team, said Devin, and third team, Emma Avancho. I mean, that is an impressive, list. I mean, just to have so many of your teammates, including yourself, on that list. I mean, that had to feel good that all your hard work really paid off, said this past season.
Yeah, our team was just so many hard workers. I have so much respect for all the girls because they just put so much work in constantly. I know a lot of the girls play club throughout the other seasons, so they're just really dedicated, and that's why so many of us got on those teams.
Mm-hmm.
But Davin, I played with her in middle school, same thing with Sophia. And then I know I wasn't here at Riverdale freshman year, but as soon as I got back sophomore year, I've been playing with them since. And they're just both really great players and great leaders. And all the seniors, it was really nice to have all of us who were captains together, and they were great leaders. And same thing with the underclassmen. They're also super talented. Definitely Alicia and Emma, Emily Sinclair, Lily, that's like the main junior group. And I know that they're going to keep the team in good hands and have a lot of definitely high hopes for them next year. And yeah, we just had a lot of depth. We had the seniors, the juniors, and even the sophomores like Erin McCabe. And then we also have like Reese and Julia, who definitely next year we're going to see them grow and evolve as players too.
Yeah, I said the future is set up very nicely for Riverdale Golden Hawks varsity volleyball. I wanted to ask you, this was a roller coaster, it said ride here. You won your first 5 matches, dropped that first one to IHA, followed up with a 4-game winning streak. I know that Demorest had your number during the regular season, but you caught them, in the playoffs. So, and then you won your next 8 in a row, including defeating Pascack Valley in the Bergen County tournament at Riverdale High School in 3 sets. So, just wanted to get your take on, just the season. Just starting with winning those first 5, Kayla.
Yeah, so we were definitely confident in the beginning of the season. We started off really strong, won the first 5 games. We were feeling good about ourselves, confident. And then we went into that IHA game and got kind of killed. But I think we definitely needed that loss because it really taught us how to rebound and bounce back from losing. And it brought us together as a team. And then we worked hard to get back on the rise. So then we were winning the next games. And then we also had Demorest, of course. But those losses, they definitely helped us throughout the rest of the season, especially in games like the Pascack Valley game, where we lost the first set, but then came back and won the second 2 in that county game. And I think if we didn't have those early losses to IHA and Demorest, we wouldn't have been able to beat Pascack Valley in that game, because since we knew how to lose and knew how to come back, it allowed us to do that in that game specifically.
I know that defeated Westwood in the regular season finale, then Jefferson, first round there. And then, of course, it said the rematch with Demorest, at Demorest High School. Talk about that, heading into the state tournament, on a roll here, just the confidence that you guys had, said amongst yourselves, and, definitely getting off on that right note, beating Jefferson, said in straight sets in the first round, Kayla.
Yeah, so that Jefferson game was definitely an interesting one because last year we had lost to Jefferson in the
Mhm.
state tournament. So we knew we had to get revenge, redeem ourselves, and win this time around. And the last year's game, it was messy. Jefferson's obviously not close, so it was a super long bus ride there, and then there was like complications. We were ended up going the wrong way, and then we were like an hour late, and it was just a terrible game. But this year, at least we had the home court advantage, so we were already feeling better about that. And we knew they had lost some players, but we didn't want to underestimate them. They still had a really good outside hitter, but we were confident in ourselves, and we knew we definitely had to get that one to move on and then play Demorest again.
Okay,
But
sorry, go ahead.
it wasn't like the cleanest game. It
Yeah.
definitely could have been better, but we still got it done in 2 sets, and that's all we needed to bring us to Demorest.
It's great. Okay, let's move to the Demers said match. I mean, that was a thrilling, said win. Talk about the emotions. I mean, you're playing on their home court. Here, you've already lost the first 2 times. Wondering what you were able to take away from those first 2 matches, but then, you win the first set 25-18, lose the second set 25-17, then win a close third set 25-21. So just, walk me through that entire, lead up to that game, it just, in terms of the practices, and then, during the match itself, Kayla.
Yeah, so the first 2 times we beat Demorest, it was kind of a different story because when we had played them those first 2 times, they were still undefeated and they hadn't even dropped a set yet
Yeah.
throughout the whole season. So already in our minds, we kind of had that in the back of our mind, like, oh, they're kind of unbeatable at this time. But then the difference was before the third time we played them, actually right that weekend before, they played Ridgewood in the county finals, and me and a bunch of the girls went to watch that game, and we saw Ridgewood beat Demorest, and so that kind of like made us like, wow, they are beatable, they're not invincible, and that gave us a little bit more confidence and gave us a different mindset about the game. And yeah, we just prepared so hard in practice. That's all we focused on was just practicing how to beat them, how to like cover, because they're a good blocking team. So we really needed to work on covering off the blocks. And yeah, we prepared a lot, worked really hard. And then we finally got to that game. Everyone was saying like third time's the charm. And we had more confidence than the first 2. But of course, they were still Demorest. They were #1 ranked in the state at that time. So kind of all of our mindsets, we all just agreed to leave it all out on the court, just give it everything we got, and there was nothing to lose. And that's kind of just how we played that whole game. Like, we came out in the first set with just so much energy. I think we caught them by surprise in that first set. And even though we dropped the second set, we still carried the energy throughout the whole third set and came off with the win. That last point especially was just Emmy Holt's block. It was just so crazy. Like, that moment was so amazing. And then we all dogpiled, and it was just so, we were all overwhelmed with like so much happiness, and we were all so proud of each other. And that whole game, we played so well as a team. Everything was working for us, and we were just clicking and working together so well. Like, the hitting and the covering and defense was just great, and serving, just everything came together nicely, and helped us win.
I'm wondering where that win ranks. It said in terms of the varsity volleyball program. Definitely a statement win, but maybe one of the biggest. Said we've seen in I would say the last several years.
Yeah, we've always had a rivalry with Demorest, but recently they've been kind of winning most of the games. But to get them in their home court when it really mattered the most in the state tournament just made the whole thing extra special and extra big. It made us feel like everything we'd been working so hard for the entire season finally was worth it, and finally just all came together in that game.
Talk about that bus trip back to River Dell High School.
It was great. We just were so happy. We were kind of like overwhelmed with excitement and just so full of emotion. And we just all like loved each other so much. We were like super close team, and we just had like our music blasting, and we were like singing and dancing in the bus, and it was just a super fun night. And I know like I will never forget that night for the rest of my life. It was just so much fun and such a great moment to
That's
share with
one. That's
girls.
wonderful. Uh, I know it's never easy for a season to come to an end, a career, because you've invested so much time, in training and practices and playing the game of volleyball itself. The loss at Old Japan the following week. Talk about said that match, Kayla.
Yeah, so I think we were kind of like riding on a high after that Demers game,
Yeah.
and we were just so happy with that win that we probably should have been a little bit more focused on Old Japan. And we had already beaten Old Japan once during the regular season, so we thought that we could beat them again. But they just came out and played like spectacular. We had never seen Old Japan play that amazing before, so have to give them credit. They had such a great game. And that first set was just insane. Like the points just went up to the 30s. It was just felt like it was never going to end. It was just so back and forth. Like each team was just battling so hard for every single point of that game. And I was kind of thinking throughout the game, like, all right, whoever wins this first set is probably going to take the game, because losing a set like that is just so like just brings you all down. And so they won that first set, and they had all like the momentum and the confidence that just kind of took them through the second to beat us. And it was really sad, obviously, to lose. And I think what I was even more sad about than like the season coming to an end, that I wouldn't play volleyball anymore, was that I wouldn't be able to spend every single day with those girls, because the team had really become like my family, and we just loved spending time together. We all had so much fun. We're always laughing. We're so close. And like the realization that I wouldn't be with them every single day anymore was just so sad. And everyone was really like down after that game. Like I think I went in late to school the next morning just because I was so upset. And I felt like anytime anyone mentioned something about volleyball to me, I would just like start crying. But at least I had basketball coming up soon, so I had something else to like take my mind off of it and look forward to.
Just talk about the sport itself. You talk the physicality, but also the mental aspect as well, because you said being in a lengthy set like that, you really have to be sharp. Said on both angles. I'm just wondering. Can you describe said these last couple of years? I mean, there's so much. It's pretty much 24/7. I think 365. You're putting in the work here, Kayla.
Yeah. I had an interesting past 4 years. Obviously, my freshman year, I wasn't at River Dell. I went to IHA.
Okay.
And I played JV for most of the season, and then got moved up to varsity at the end of the season, which that was a really cool experience, because that year IHA won the Tournament of Champions. So to be with them through that journey and be on like the state champion team was super cool. And like I wouldn't trade that experience, but it did kind of end up hurting me when I transferred back to River Dell, because there's this transfer rule where if you play in a varsity game and then transfer, you can't play in another varsity game for 30 days.
Okay.
So that was pretty hard on me, because I came back sophomore year and I was practicing with varsity, but I had to just sit for a big amount like of time, a big chunk of the season. I couldn't be on the court. So that was pretty tough for me. And I got to play a few games towards the end of the season, but that season was shorter anyways because we didn't make it to states that year. So that was kind of a tough year for me. And then obviously last year was super messy. Got first of all moved to spring, and then there was an overlap between basketball and volleyball, so I couldn't start right away. And then I think we only played about 9 games, kept getting shut down. So it was a rough season. But then finally this season made it all worth it. It kind of brought everything together. I finally like got to start off right away with the team and like play as an outside hitter. And it was just a really great senior season. But volleyball is a really mental game, like as well as physical, I think more than people realize. And yeah, being like in a game, when you make a mistake, you get in your head. So you have to be really strong mentally as well as physically. So yeah.
what did it mean, putting on that, say Golden Hawks jersey, say these past couple of years?
I think that that jersey for me represents not like teamwork and like friendship and family,
Mhm.
because I really am so close with all of those girls. We were way more than just a team. We were a family. So it definitely represents like family, and as well as like an outlet for me. Sports have always like served as an outlet for me. I've played like almost every sport since I was younger, and it's always just like my favorite thing to do, my favorite pastime.
Mhm.
Even after like a long day at school, you would think that having to go practice would like kind of be annoying, but it was still my favorite time of every day.
Mhm.
And I just always have loved playing sports, and they just serve as like a, a great outlet for me. So it also represents that.
It's fantastic. Don't want to forget about head coach Diane. First, what did she mean to you? Said especially on and off the court here, Kayla.
Coach Fu is a great coach. She was just always so supportive of us and believed in us, but she knew how to coach us really well. She was hard on us and held us accountable, but that just made us to be better players, and she pushed us to really reach our full potential and be the best players that we could be.
Mhm.
And I think something that I really love about Fu is that she knew like when to be serious, but she also knew when to be like fun and have fun with us. And I know she loved like laughing with us and like making jokes and just having a good time.
Mhm.
And I liked that she was able to have that side of her as well. And but then she also knew how to like flip the switch when to be serious and focused and locked in. But yeah, having both sides of her like that was really great.
That's terrific. We talked about said the away games, but how about the home games? At Riverdale High School, just the support from fellow students, uh, administration, athletics, especially you have one of the best athletic directors, of course, in the county, I think in New Jersey, Dennis Nelson. If just wanted to, ask you about that as well, Kayla.
Yeah, I think the support that we got this year was just excellent, and it was so nice because we got so much support from the fans and from the administrators and everyone just following us throughout the whole season. I think everyone was extra excited for this season because the past seasons have been
Mm.
a little rocky. Everyone was excited to finally have like a normal full season.
Yeah.
And since we were also so successful, everyone liked to follow us. And like the student section at some of our games was great. They really boosted our morale, and all the cheering like helps us on the court,
Hmm.
brings more energy into the gym. And yeah, having Dennis Nelson, always seeing him at every game, and he would always be so supportive, always does whatever is like most beneficial for our team. And our principal too, both of them always like sending out emails and posting things on Instagram, posting updates, keeping everyone engaged and
Hmm.
bringing more interest and just more support.
That's wonderful. As it's also being a student athlete, Kayla. I wanted to ask you, just being able to balance out that role. It's not easy, especially between practice time, said games. There's a serious commitment you have to make to it. I'm just wondering when it comes to just being organized and time management, how you've been able to again do such a effective job at that as well.
Yeah, time management is super vital to being a student athlete. And I think over the years, I've gotten more used to it and gotten better at that part. But it's definitely tough, having to balance out all the schoolwork, especially this year with like college applications and all
Hmm.
of that, as well as sports. And it's hard sometimes when you have like a game and then you have to come home, eat, shower, sometimes be up until like super late hours of the night finishing homework. But I think it's also really rewarding when it all said and done, and I wouldn't trade that for anything. I love like working hard and managing everything. I'm an organized person. Like I have like my checklists every day, so I always know that what I need to get done. And it's tough, but it is manageable, definitely.
It's great. Uh, wanted to ask you, it's such an interesting component. You have as athletes, you have two towns, so we're down River Edge, so I wanted to ask you which town you're from, and just the fact that you have students coming together and as one, and not only, attending, school, but also playing on these teams as well.
Yeah, I'm from Ordell.
Okay.
And yes. Yeah, I think that's a really cool thing that we have with Riverdale, that it's both Ordell and River Edge.
Yeah.
I know, like, growing up, always playing for the Ordell teams, we would play against River Edge, and it'd be like, wow, one day we're all gonna play together.
Yeah.
And it was like a great experience finally coming together in middle school.
What happened here? Are you still there, Kayla? Hello?
Some of my
Oh,
closest friends are from River Edge, actually, so it was really nice finally getting together with them.
Yeah.
And been playing with them since middle school all up throughout high school.
That's great. Just have a couple more left. I asked Davin in the last interview about women in sports, and I think it's an important topic, especially for even for the younger athletes, for the kids out there who want one day said to play high school sports, even go on to college. And I'm wondering, and especially with social media these days playing such a essential role, just wanted to get your take on that as well, like how important that is to set that example, especially for younger kids as well.
Yeah, I think it's super important, especially because I know years ago it was kind of hard for girls because every big name out there it was more male athletes than female.
Mm-hmm.
So it was kind of hard for them to find someone that they could relate to and also look up to. But nowadays there's so many platforms, and I think it's really great that there's like so many female athletes that have bigger names now and are able to like get their voices out and get their voices heard to all the young female athletes that are like looking up to them.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's really important for everyone to kind of have someone who sets an example, who they could look up to, who they strive to be like. I know, like, personally, I love scrolling through any social media on my phone and seeing videos of like empowered and strong female athletes, whether they're like playing in a game or whether they're talking. I think it's like super important and great that all these young female athletes have the opportunity to look up to someone like that today.
That's great. Okay, don't want to forget about family, especially I know it's very important, your parents, if you have any siblings, just what that, they've meant to you, said during this journey, especially at Riverdale High School.
Mm-hmm. My parents were super supportive throughout my entire journey at Riverdale, especially this year, that they could like come to everything and see us play throughout the whole season. My mom especially, she's so supportive, and it's actually funny because my mom's like the craziest, most energetic, enthusiastic person ever, and she was always the loudest in the stands, like our biggest cheerleader. And the girls, we would sometimes joke and like call her our team mascot, and they all loved her so much and thought she was hysterical. And she would always try to hype us up and like joke around with us, but she brought so much energy and like excitement, and it was really nice to always have her there and like supporting me throughout my whole way. And my dad too was super supportive. He doesn't know as much about volleyball. My mom played in high school.
Okay.
But he still loved coming to the games, loved watching us play and cheering us on. And I have 2 siblings. I have a younger brother who's in 6th grade, and he doesn't know much about volleyball. Like, he's not super interested, but he would always ask me about my games, come to them when he could. And then I also have a younger sister who's in 8th grade, and she played on the middle school volleyball team this year, actually.
Okay.
So she was always interested and always asking me about the games, and sometimes her and the middle school team would come watch our games, so she liked coming to watch. And that's going to be cool because she's going up to the high school next year and she's going to play volleyball, so that'll be fun for me to come back and see like how she's grown as a player and like see her playing where I once did.
Oh, that's really cool. That's great. All right, Kayla, I came up with a new segment that the athlete gets the last word here, in terms of what your final message is to, family, friends, classmates, Riverdale High School and the town of Ordell as well. The floor is yours, Kayla.
Yeah, obviously I would like to thank everyone just because the support this year was like no other, and it really made my season and the whole team season just that extra special, because not only were we successful and had so much fun, but we we knew we had all those fans supporting us and always bringing us like the extra energy and lifting our morale and just showing support in any way that they could. And it was really great. It definitely helped us get as far as we did and just made the overall experience so much more enjoyable. So I would just like to thank everyone.
Well said. Incredible honor and privilege, Kayla. Thank you so much for the opportunity. Congrats again on your success, on the River Dell Golden Hawks varsity volleyball team, and wishing you continued success, especially here playing basketball, varsity basketball at River Dell, and with graduation upcoming next June and on to college next fall. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me.